Good afternoon, Sangha here, and hi, friends at home. If you are here, please silence your phones, and if you are at home, please mute your microphone. At this time, Heartwood is still planning on an in-person retreat on September 30th through October 3rd, objectless concentration with Bhante Siddhasa. You can register on the retreat page of the Heartwood website. The Novena prayers occur monthly. Please send your confidential prayer requests for yourself or loved ones, including pets, who are sick, suffering, misfortune, or departed, to prayer@heartwoodrefuge.org. There continues to be opportunities to volunteer at Heartwood's thrift store, Thrifty Treasures. If you are interested, please email thriftytreasureswnc.com. Please like, follow, and share Heartwood and Thrifty Treasures on all social media to help spread the Dharma and further Heartwood's mission. If you wish to donate to Heartwood, you can do so by visiting the Heartwood website and clicking the donate button. You can also support us through Amazon via our wish list or choosing Heartwood on Amazon Smile. Have a beautiful day.
We're all getting ready, getting comfortable. But I want you guys to just be. What everyone in Hardwood wants everyone else to be is comfortable and okay and at ease with the present moment. And we are offering and sharing processes and exercises that will allow you to enter that space of present moment so that you can be that way. What all of these teachings help us to see, according to our own ability, is that everything in this moment is all right. You remember taking your 2-year-old around, and in this moment, they always wanted to know what is that and where is that going. And we would say, well, just be patient. You'll see, you'll find out. So the exercises in coming from Theravada is about being present and just observing the state. Just being at one with what's there. Not trying to change it to what we want it to be, because again, right now, at our age, whatever that might be, at our experience, whatever that might be, we realize that trying to change it to make it be, to make it fit, to make it be okay with what we want it to be, doesn't work. That's what causes us all our anxiety and insecurity. Because we keep trying to build that sandcastle that will allow us to be okay with what's around us. Without understanding that if you don't create what's around you, then you will never know what's going to be around you at any present moment. Did you follow? If you don't create the moment, then you don't know what's going to be present or preside in the moment with you. Because it doesn't have anything to do with you only. It has to do with everybody that is available, that is present right now. And you have no idea who that might be, or how many that might be, or where they might come from, or who they might belong to, or who they're related to. They just show up with their own game plan. And we always say, hey, don't invite them back. They have disturbance. Well, the disturbance is created by ourselves who had a different agenda. Once it didn't have an agenda at all, but once the reality presented itself, we then wanted to be what we wanted to be as opposed to what it is. And what we are learning, or what I'm hoping we're learning to do, if we are working with the meditation techniques that will allow us to present or sit in the present moment right now without wanting to be anything but what it is. That is mindfulness. That is being in the present moment. If we are in the present moment, which we are always in the present moment, but we're fighting it, we're struggling with it because we want it to be something other than what it is. The struggle, the war comes with that desire for it to be not what it is, not the truth of the moment, but our truth. But I don't want that. I want something else. I want the big screen. I want them to like me. I want to be a different race. I want to be a different gender. That never works. It never has, it never will. But what the processes involved in entering the gate of selflessness from this perspective means you learn how not to argue with what's true. Honey, I want a divorce. Well, I don't want a divorce. So I'm gonna yell and scream and cry and moan and try to get you to see things my way. And even when we are successful in that accomplishment, that we get people to see things our way, because it's not their way, they can't stay with it for too long. They keep drifting out of sync with what is not their idea, but what is someone else's idea. It only works when there's consensus. And the only way to get consensus is to agree with everyone else. You can never get consensus by pressing in your own agenda because it's not anyone else's agenda. They don't want it. They want their agenda. So can you live with those who don't agree with you? Can you live with those who have a different point of view? The idea is to see. If you find you can't, then you need to go down a different path. You need to go through a different doorway. And there are many of them out there. That's the point. You don't have to force yourself to fit in any one exercise or procedure or technique or practice. It says, if you're doing this and you're still unhappy, you're still beleaguered with life, you are still eroded by consequences around you that you perceive you had nothing to do with, then the instructions tell us that it doesn't have to take a long time. And the length of time we have in the struggle is influenced by our alignment with it, our not necessarily, well, even agreement, not necessarily agreement with, but with our alignment, our acceptance of the fact that in this moment, that energy needs to be present. And so let me see what it brings me. Let me see what it offers me, as opposed to fighting it, telling it that we didn't invite it, you're not wanted, go away. Never works. It's better, what I'm sharing with you, that it is better to make the decision to do something different than to try to make it be what you want it to be. That you try a different therapy, if you will, that will allow you to be in this moment, not in the sense of changing it to something else, but in the sense of being able to give you that peace that helps you accommodate it and be present with it without issue. Just understanding that this has something to teach me. This has something to give me. And I don't know what it is until I sit down and listen to it. So for us guys, the ladies the people that we've been present with throughout our lives have tried to message things to us. But their complaint has always been, we don't listen. But now this also goes for everyone else too. It's not just the fault of the male gender. It's the fault of the person of any gender who doesn't have the compassion to accommodate the request of someone else. To say, oh, you're trying to tell me something. Let me sit down and listen. Let me stop talking and sit down and listen to what you have to say. What your suggestions are about how we can find a reality that gives us both the peace that we desire, the camaraderie that we desire, the companionship that we desire, the friend that we desire. Let me listen so that I would understand what I need to do, and you will listen to me and learn what it is that we need to do, and we will form a partnership so that we will have harmony as we walk down this path. That's right. That is always changing. That always gives us challenges to harmony. And then we realize is that, well, all I have to do is bring me peace. There's no peace there because I'm not bringing it. I'm bringing logic. I'm bringing opinion. I'm bringing fear. I'm bringing non-acceptance. But that's not peace. That's complaining. What I've learned to do through the exercises from the Theravada tradition is instead of pushing, and resisting before I even understand what it is that is the agenda of the other person, to accept your way doesn't mean that I can live it myself, doesn't mean that I agree with what you say. It just simply means that I hear what you're saying to me, and it sounds like a good idea for you. And I respect you, and I love you, and I have enough compassion for you to allow you the space to see if what you're saying you want works. We have no idea what works and doesn't work until we try, until we insert it into our reality. So we are sharing with the Sangha. And of course, by now you guys know that the Sangha not only includes those realities, those spirits that come here on hardwood, but connected by electronic wizardry, they're everywhere. We have friends, we have journeymen everywhere. But we also are fortunate to have experiences of different processes so that we don't get stuck on one. And I've said this before, and I'll continue to emphasize it, that if you are working for peace and you don't have it yet, and you're older than 27, try something different. Let it go. In Christianity, there's a quote that says, "In my Father's house there are many mansions." In Buddhism, you have teachings that tell us we have 184,000 different ways to enter, doors to the Dharma. As a matter of fact, it tells us that all things, everything, all of our conversation, all of our caring and non-caring is Dharma. So if you can't sit and be with the gift of the moment, the gift of the now, that first of all requires that I don't insert, intrude, disturb the moment myself, but that I sit and listen so that I will hear the message that this moment, this right nowness that changes right now to something different. And that motion, that wheel just keeps turning. It doesn't stop because I need to go, hmm. When I go, hmm, I'm out. I'm thrown out of the mood. I'm back to someplace else. And so we have to learn that we don't know if we're not practicing it. We have to learn how not to hold on to where we are, but to float, to travel, to process our own being as our own reality changes and becomes something different. We are not, and those around us who are with us are not the same people this morning that we went to bed with last night. They're different. Not only in obvious things like aging, but in everything. They're different. So sometimes our benefit, our our exercise in being in harmony with the moment is just simply allowing the moment to carry us on its way. Understanding that the moment is not my moment. I just happen to be in it. I happen to have a big part, but it's not mine. Because if it were mine, it would be just what I wanted it to be. And that never happens. Not in my dream. I don't know about you. But if you sit in here, then it's not happening in yours either. And somehow we believe that that means that I'm not worthy, I'm not doing the right thing. And a little bit of that is appropriate for the whole experience of the moment. Because if it's not working for us, we have to have the uh, but the willingness to be the one that says, okay, I'll change. I'll try this new thing. Because this is what being in the moment expresses, that I am not what I was, and I am now something different. A willingness to change and be something different. And not be afraid that I am giving up, losing myself, uh, disrespecting myself. Because none of what we leave behind is who we are. None of what we leave behind is who we are. Now you say, well, if none of what we leave behind is who we are, then who am I? And the answer is to sit, be quiet, and find out. Listen and be a part of and flow with the moment, not resisting the changes that appear to be happening as we move from one breath to the next. It tells us that nothing is unchanging, nothing is static, because that would be like death. So we are taught, are asked to witness truth and to, in that moment, be truthful to that moment by not corrupting it with something that is not a part of the drama that, that is created by trying to make it different. So, let's for a moment just sit and watch the breath, be with the breath. Just be present with the breath. And everything that else, and everything else that comes with the breath, that flows with the breath. And just see if you can do that. Just be present. Just be here. And stop trying to be here. Just be here. Just relax and be here. So sit up. Feel. Feel.
Yes, ma'am. Sir.
Thank you for being here with
How's
us.
it? I've been busy. Thank you.
I know I could tell.
You get a break. Sorry,
All right, that's fine.
I got you.
Sit here and be with me. All right?
All right.
Thank you. We're just gonna sit and breathe and see what comes. We'll see what goes. as we sit and watch, it tells us, it instructs us not to try to alter any part of any moment of the moment. Just be present and see what is there and what's not there. Omission and commission. Now it tells us in the instructions that this is one of the methods that we can use. That is the direct way into awakening. The direct path. But it informs us that what we need to do is be informed that it isn't necessary to try to change anything about what we see or hear or know as we just observe the landscape of our intuitive. That if we see a mind that is unsteady, unsettled, then just note that the mind is unsteady or unsettled. In other words, the wisdom is that I don't have to change it because it's going to change anyway, whether I wanted to or not. And the wisdom that occurs by just seeing that truth. seeing the mind go from this to that, seeing the body go from this to that, seeing the breath go from this to that. And hey, I didn't do anything. I just sat and witnessed. Well, then we'll change it. We'll construct it. And that's the wrong question. What's the right question? There is none. Because again, to go back to being our ordinary selves, to need to ask the questions about what's happening to me is the wrong thing to do. The exercise is to sit and watch. Not to ask any questions, to accept, to be in harmony with, to be at peace with what is happening right now. Not to bring disagreement to the now, to the moment, but just to see what's going on. And one of the things that occurs when we are able to sit still and just watch is that this thing that I am observing goes away anyway. It doesn't stay. It doesn't continue to bother me with its presence. Because somehow I changed from this to this to this to this. And I really didn't have very much to do with the whole thing, except be there, except show up. So, moment to moment to moment to moment. Witnessing, witnessing, witnessing. Do I have to work at change? Just watch it change. You don't have to work at anything. Just be present. Without opinion or agenda. And we have talked about the whole frustration of trying to change the truth of the moment to something that has nothing to do with where we are. If this is not working for you, tune in on Thursday for the Mahayana and Vajrayana techniques that have a different path and doorway to be peaceful, enlightenment factor. But don't spend the rest of your life trying to make it work because this is what you've done. If it doesn't work, change to something else. Peace is your inheritance. Love, compassion, your inheritance. And the only reason that you are still expressing those emotions is because you're holding on to them. You're willing them to be with you, to be present in the moment. So the first thing that needs to be done, no matter what you decide to do, and whatever you decide to do, it's fine with me. Because I want this to work for you. I want you to have this peace. I don't want you to be derailed and upset by things that go on that have nothing at all to do with us. You have to scrub the rust, the contamination away. That's what we carry and that's what we bring to the present moment. The contamination of anger, hate, fear, confusion, intolerance. Those things, those contaminants are things that belong to us. They're not a part of the dreamscape. And so before you go and float with the present moment, make sure that you are uncontaminated, that you are free of opinions and exercises that judge others. Give everyone the benefit. And just be with what happens. So scrub, or what's another example? Dumping the trash out of your computer, right? The computer has all of this trash and all of this litter, all of these opinions and ads to sell you stuff and encourage you to go here, there, and everything. But every once in a while, because it loads down, it lowers your capability for operation, you dump the trash, you dump your stuff. And so before you go into your exercises, observe. That's all. Just sit and watch and see if you are able to observe the condition of the mind, the condition of your moment. And what you find, if anything, is not to be judgmental on yourself, not to be hard on yourself, just to acknowledge that that's present. And I'm going to do the things that I need to do to make it go away. Because it can't, I'm not going to have a peaceful environment when I bring in anger, frustration, irritation, hatred, judgment. Doesn't work. So I gotta get rid of this thing. I know there's some minds that say, well, wait a minute, now I thought we were talking about not changing anything, not worrying about anything, letting everything be. See if it works. Try. Greediness, desire, hatred, all of these things. Just leave them beside you as you go inside to see who you truly are. So, any questions? This is working for everyone. Okay. Then I will get out of the way. You got 10 minutes. Thank all of you for doing the work that you do on yourself. You have a wonderful day. Smiling a stranger. Continue to do your work. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you, man.